know, God sometimes like has like funny stuff he does. So how did Nelk start? Because I think there's a lot of audience that doesn't know, you know, and so I just want my audience to, sometimes I don't do the best job of like getting to know who the guest is and where they're at, you know?
Yeah, it started, I mean, I've just been making videos ever since I was young, like grade 5, grade 6, just like fucking around with the camera, making like funny shit and then like little, even like short films. And then, just uploading them on Facebook and shit like that. I probably, honestly, if we found the Facebook ones, I think I'd be canceled for sure.
Really?
Like, you know, the humor back then too. Like,
yeah, I still
there's
use
like,
it.
yeah, you probably do, but like gay jokes could fly and shit, like crazy shit. I remember what we were doing, but shit like that, just messing around with friends, making funny skits and shit. And then getting into YouTube. And in high school, I was kind of always good at video, like all sides of video, like the filmmaking side too, like editing, directing, and shit like that.
You have to have your touch on it. I think especially if you're creative, you have to be able to do that kind of stuff.
That was the thing with YouTube too. Everyone that was coming up, like you got to be multi-layered. You got to have the on-camera shit, and then you got to also be able to be your own producer, right? That's all the YouTubers that make it kind of do both.
Yeah.
So I was good at both. I always knew I was going to do something in film, and I was like applying to go to film school and shit. And but we started uploading shit on YouTube, and it slowly started getting traction, like 10K views, and then 50K views, and
so
then like
huge. Remember when you your first
100K
10K?
Bro, it's sick. And there was this thing.
Did you jerk off? You think?
Did I jerk off to the views?
I mean, not to them, but when you
I think I might have jerked to my first YouTube check. Yeah. It was like $1,000.
Ooh.
Probably.
Oh, that thing's damp, cuz.
Bro, it was lit. And it was like, it was called like the YouTube Partner Program. And I saw like other YouTubers, they were like making a living off YouTube. And I was like, no fucking way you can like make a living off YouTube. Like you just get paid to upload fucking YouTube videos. Like that sounds like the dream to me. So we kept applying and we kept getting denied. And then eventually we got it. So we would start making like $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, you know, like just enough to kind of like, you know, just fund some shit, like do videos and shit. And then,
then you're a business at that point. You become a businessman.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
Like in a way, it's like business. You know, it's like you start to create something, it makes some money, and then that's when you're like, okay, now this is a business.
Yeah, so I was in film school and shit, and I told my parents, I was like, I think the videos were getting like, you know, 100,000 views. And I was like, yo, I think if I want to ever be my own boss and do anything in this fucking like genre or whatever, I think this is the way to go. Just like build my own shit, be my own boss. And then I can kind of do whatever I want when I kind of make it, right?
And what was their response to that? Were
they believed in me because, yeah, they kind of believed in me and they saw like the money coming in. I think it was like blind faith, to be honest, which was cool. Like a lot of people say like my parents never fucking supported me, but mine was like the opposite.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool. But and then we moved to LA. I worked at a golf course, so I saved up like all summer. Just fucking slaving at the golf course.
And were you meeting, was there some cool people you would see at the golf course?
Oh, yeah. It was like all my buddies. I think like, actually, yeah, 4 people that work for us now, they worked with me at the golf course.
Really?
I got like 6 of my Canadian buddies from back home, and they all work with us now. They all live in Cali too, which is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, the golf course was lit though.
We need more Canadian imports too, because it's kind of not fair. Mexican does all these people, you know.
There's so many importing of Mexicans, right?
Right. It's like
there is a lot of Canadians though too.
Yeah, but I'd love to see a ton of them just rush over the woods at one point. You know what I'm saying?
Like one of those. What's it called? Those. What did Trump call it? When like a shit ton of them come across the border.
Oh yeah, like
at once. Fuck, what's the word?
Like a cumpleaños?
Huh?
Like a wave?
No, he called it something like it was a really good name.
It was?
Yeah.
Can you look it up for us, Zach? I think it's like a quinceañera. I don't know. It depends on how old they are.
But yeah, one of those. Just like a huge. Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
Dude, if you had a bunch of Canadians roll in, dude.
We should kind of organize
And then they had to fight in fucking like Ohio or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like ICE has to go to the Canadian border and like keep everyone out. That'd be pretty cool.
Dude, how weird will it get when we have to hire ISIS to come protect our borders?
ISIS or ICE?
Oh, both probably. I mean, it's getting pretty dicey down there. We had a border patrol agent on and he said it's just crazy. He said it's
really?
Bro, he said it's bananas. He said, well, first of all, the cartels own a lot of the land by the border, or they like hypothetically own it, right? So if you're bringing across I don't know what we call it, illegal alien, a migrant, somebody who's coming in, right? Mm-hmm. Then you have to pay those. The cartels have to be paid for you to use that part of the land to get to the border. So there's all
really.
So there's like there's little levels of business that are going on that side, right? And then a lot of times you pay a certain amount and they just guarantee that they'll get you to the border. It's like for like
so this is like Mexicans paying to come to the U.S.
right.
Wow.
And then you got to pay. It's like an extra. Like sometimes they'll hit you at the last minute. It's like 200 more if you want to get over. You're like, what the?
So the cartel's making money off all these people traveling, trying to like escape to the U.S.
Right.
So it's just a whole fucking money grab.
It's a huge racket, and then a lot of times they'll get people there, and then they if they get busted, a lot of times the problem that the guy was saying was that they don't there's no prosecution, there's no follow up by the U.S. So the border police will like lasso them or whatever. I don't know how they have to do it now, but then they don't get prosecuted. So like a month later, it's the same dude running across with like
that shit. To me is like I'm Canadian too, but I mean it's so crazy that the U.S. like isn't allowed to have like a border.
I know.
I don't know. It's so to me like it's so dumb how people don't understand that. Like it's not like you're racist or anything. It's just like every country has to have a border.
Yeah, you have to have like a organized system.
Yeah.
Like Ronald Reagan had I think it was during the Reagan administration, and maybe Zach, you can look this up, where you got to sponsor someone who was coming across. So say you were a family that could take care of yourself or that was big hearted, you could say, okay, we're going to sponsor Hector, or Oscar, and he's going to come stay with us, and we're going to he's going to have like not like a parole officer, but almost like this social parole officer here in the U.S. so that there's a level of connection. So then like the ICE or whoever the authorities would have this American person that's connected to the person who's coming over.
Right.
So it's kind of like a program,
Yeah. I mean, you got to have some sort of system, right?
Yeah. Amnesty for illegal immigrants. Let me see it. At the nations.
Yeah, so basically, Ronald Reagan cracked down on that, but he did have a thing that if you were in there before 1982, you had amnesty, which is kind of not protocol for the right typically, but I think you're right. He did have like a program where he kind of sponsored people.
There was a program, yeah. Anyway, it's just been interesting what went on down there. But okay, so we have Nelk. You guys get it put together in Canada, right?
Yeah.
And then you're doing good. Now, at that point, when you roll out of here and you decide to come to LA, did your whole family come?
No,
Okay.
It was myself, Jesse, who used to be with us.
Yeah, I love him.
And two other guys, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jesse came with us too. And, yeah, I think I was like 19 at the time. I'm 28 now, so it was almost 10 years ago. It's crazy to think of, bro. And, yeah, we like just going to L.A., like landing at the airport, you see the palm trees and shit.
Huh?
Like, and, yeah, we were pretty broke at the time. Like, we saved up money and shit. But also, if you're Canadian, you can't sign a full year lease. Because, like, you don't have a SIN number or anything like that. So we got rinsed with the fucking, like, short-term rental shit, too. So it was, like, kind of expensive to stay,
Yeah, because they bite you pretty hard on that.
Yeah. So we had to deal with that, too. And then, but, yeah, we hit, like, our first, like, viral video. We did, like, the Coke prank on cops. I don't know if you ever seen that one. We put, like, a bunch of Coca-Cola in the trunk of a car.
Yeah.
And then we, like, parked in a suspicious area. And then we told the cops we had cocaine, and they arrested us, and then they saw the Coca-Cola. That one has got like 50 million views now.
Fuck, that's so crazy.
Yeah, that was our first big one.
What does something like that gets 50 million views earn you? Like, what can it earn you?
I don't think we didn't make anything off that.
Wow.
But theoretically, I guess 50 mil. I mean, some people make 1,000 per million at the lowest, but you can make like 5,000 per million. So that could be anywhere from 50K to 250K.
Wow. But then it also just gets your name out there, which also has just as much value. Yeah,
for sure.
Either way, there's a lot of value with it.
Yeah, I think honestly we might not even be here if we got paid off YouTube, because you get really comfortable too, right? A lot of those kids fell off that like they were making a lot of money off YouTube, and now they're kind of nowhere to be found. So I hope they like saved up money and shit.
Yeah, or you knock a chick up, you think it's a rap.
Yeah, exactly.
You definitely kind of get used to that. Okay, so then at what point does kind of the podcast, you guys become this? Do you get?
And then I think we just we did 6 months LA, 6 months Canada, 6 months LA, 6 months Canada, because we had to.
Damn.
You can only be in the country for 6 months, and also we couldn't really afford it, so we'd go back to Canada, live at our parents' house, and shit always slowed down when we went home.
Really?
Because you're not around like-minded people and shit. Like you're in LA and you're like, dude, we went to a party once with fucking like our first time there. Like we ended up at like P Diddy's house.
Yeah.
And fucking like you see like Bieber and Kendall Jenner and like French Montana and shit. Like, just like
cool.
random ass people. Like
French is a nice guy.
yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and then you go back home and it's just like, you know what I mean? You're going to visit your buddy at his
Yeah.
farm or some shit.
Yeah,
like, it's
fucking
just not the
Arnold
same.
got a new cat.
It's not the same as P Diddy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like people watching animals fuck and they invite you over. Or something,
Everyone's
you know.
watching hockey back home and shit.
Yeah, it's more chill.
But,
People are
yeah.
drinking in the garage or whatever.
100%.
You know, everybody's afraid to beat their wife.
Yep.
That kind of shit.
Exactly.
You know, typical Canadian shit. Yeah, that had to be fucking wild then because you get so amped up, you guys are cruising, and you go back home.
Yeah.
Now, but people started to look at you guys as like freaking young legends when you got back home, huh?
They did. Yeah, it was cool. I mean, you go home, fucking, you're the hometown hero type shit.
Yeah.
All the chicks that you couldn't smash. You're still not smashing them yet, but you're getting closer. Every time you go back home, you get a little closer.
Yeah,
You're still like, this guy's a loser, but
Yeah. But God.
yeah, it was cool. But yeah, one time I think we went home and we're almost just like, we almost just quit because it's just like we weren't getting views at the time too, and it was just tough. But then we just kind of this is when pranks were like a thing too. I don't know if you followed it, but like, you know, like Vitaly and like Roman Atwood. It was
That
like
dude
a whole
almost killed
thing.
a hooker. Yeah, Roman's a buddy. Dennis Rhodey, those guys.
He did almost kill a hooker. Right?
Yeah.
Was it a hooker?
I mean, I don't know. Somebody said he bit the neck open of a hooker. Can we look that up?
He just did. I think I saw a little bit. I love Vitaly. He's a really nice guy. But yeah, I guess he just like shroomed out a little bit.
I think, and he has that Russian element.
Yeah, he's just a nut bar. Like he was always a nut.
Yeah.
But I loved Vitaly. His videos were so funny. He's one of the persons that like inspired me too. But
Yeah.
that was sad to see.
It was crazy, right?
It's fucked, bro. Yeah,
And
I don't know
think
what he
it
was on.
I would assume he'd probably got into drugs. I mean, he's a guy that likes to go hard. Russian people, they want to do like a lot of, it seems like kind of bud activities and drugs.
Yes.
And, it's like they fucking don't. It's like somebody came in at night and fucking took a slice of their brain out and made a sandwich with it, you know? And
Yeah.
they're missing it's like I can't even explain it.